Good afternoon, Scott Redler, T3 Live. Welcome to today's recap. So it's 4:03. I want to do this pretty quick because I want to be at my desk when Apple does come out. It does come out at 4:30. As far as today, very interesting day. The way it unraveled, we gapped up when Europe went green and had a big move to the upside above resistance. And typically what we do is we want to see if we hold above momentum levels. One of my rules is if you're long stock, first of all, whatever I have long, I'm usually into a gap up selling half. Okay, I always sell half, book some of the profits, and then wait to see what's next to see if the composure continues. And how do you measure that composure? Does the prior high hold? And if it doesn't, no big deal. But do you stay green or go red? And if you do, you definitely reduce some risk across the board, especially when you see some engulfing type action. So first you get a red dog reversal, make adjustments, and then you watch the day develop. And what developed is a pretty significant outside day. I don't think it's the end of the world based on where we came from. But kind of cute that you have the S&P couldn't hold above one of the momentum levels. You had the bios, which have led the market up, that was lagging last week, broke key levels today. Let me just get into the sectors and show you. Here you go. Here are the spiders. So not the end of the world, but we talked about this descending channel here, broke above, and today was a pretty big engulfing day. Not a huge one, but it opened up above 2120, hit a high of 2125. Once it went back below that, that could have been a spot to reduce some longs. Then another spot was when we went below 2112, which was Friday's low. So we took out this whole day, showing some power, so why not reduce some? Especially considering we're above the 8-day, above the 21-day. We've tested that a few times, so made some sense. All in all, though, from this reversal here, still above trend, still above the 8-day, still above the 21-day. So all in all, not the end of the world here in the S&P. Just if you got long on this day, which is what I tried to do on that this red dog reversal, you sold some. I actually wound up getting flat today, at least on the spiders concerned. One of the bigger concerns though was the bios, especially if you were long them. What could you have seen if you were long the bios? Okay, for the first time, the bios did not make new highs first. Okay, look at this lower high here versus that as the S&P made highs and the Qs made highs. Not the end of the world, but at least you go on lookout. And then what happened today? We broke the 8-day moving average. So high level stops at 361, 362. Then what happened after we broke that, where we were going to hold midterm support? Boom, we did not. We broke the 21-day. So if you ride momentum trends, 8 and 21-day, you have to be a seller here. Okay, hopefully you were on alert because, again, it's been lagging. So, there were some guys that were looking for shorts here. And if you made money short, congratulations. And if you went home short, you got to figure out if you have that, wherewithal. Because if you look here, from this pivot low, we're right on trend. And we haven't broke below it. We're right on the 50-day. The 50-day held here. So it shall be interesting to see what type of trade we get tomorrow. Depends, obviously, on the open. But all in all, high level stop, another level stop. If you made money short, congratulations. If you got your longs here, maybe tomorrow you get some kind of opportunity right there. And the Russell also did not make new highs with this move, okay, which was a bit of a concern. So was I in the Russell today? No, because it was kind of lagging. And here is a small red dog reversal in the IWM at 126.50 and closed pretty weak into some significant support, into the 50-day. Lost the 8 and 21-day moving average. So if that's what you follow, you get out. Doesn't matter what your thesis is. If you're an active trader, you get out of the way and figure out what's next. At this point, this trend is still intact, but a little bit more wishy-washy, as the action here has been a bit more wishy-washy. So we'll see what type of open we have tomorrow to base the trade around this. But hopefully you get out of some here, or when it reversed there, or some here. So this way you're not in harm's way, just in case. Mid caps, MDY, this bar engulfed this entire range also above, below the 8 and 21-day. Couldn't get traction above, so hopefully at a high level stop here. This was the level I put in my note, saying if it can't hold 276-ish, it could be trouble. Same thing for the IWM. Said if it can't hold, I think it was right around this level, this 125 or 124.70, you get out of the way. So this way you could, again, not be in harm's way. Then, go to the banks. Little wishy-washy, still in this somewhat of a mid-level channel that the bears are still pointing to this head and shoulders pattern. I'm not exactly sure, but all I know is today you tried to push through and it kind of failed, and some of the action in the banks were not great either. So you mix that all together, you get a little cautious, and then you add a bid to the metals, which typically are a safety bid. where look at that, closes on the dead lows and then traps the shorts and opens above it. That's just hard action in the metals. So we'll see what is here next. Some people were talking about the miners. What is it, GBXJ? What did that do today? The junior miners, whatever. I'm not going to get into that now. So going back to stocks, Apple's reporting after the close. I did not take an option trade into this one this time. I had it the last two times, into this one and into this one, and I also traded it afterwards. I feel like I had my earnings trade because I got long last week into like Wednesday-ish. So then today I was able to sell into strength. And at this point, we'll see if we get an after-hours trade. It's right here. The pivot is 133.60. I was going to take it long, but I'm like, you know what? My rules are not to take stock longs into earnings, even if it's Apple. I'm going to wait till after. If there's a trade, great. If not, we'll see what type of gap up we get and see if it holds like this one, and then even back to this one. So we'll see. If I think what the stock's going to need is probably over 60 million iPhone 6s or 60 million iPhones. I think they're looking for 216 in earnings, probably got to be above like 230, 240, and they have to up their buyback, up their dividend. If they do all that, maybe we take out that 133.16, and if you're a holder of the stock, congrats, you could see 140. So far in the past decade, every sale has been a bad sale in Apple if you're an investor. So if you've ridden it, great. If you're a short-term trader, hard to be all in near historic highs, based on an earnings report when there's a little bit of earnings risk. If you take risk, great. If not, hopefully you're in some options for a play. And if not, if you're going to try and trade it after, we'll see how it evolves. As far as individual stocks, Google, that that they basically bought on a lukewarm report, went into the gap. So at this point, not that compelling, but I guess we'll see what happens tomorrow around here. Amazon, which didn't even get close to trading in its gap last time. It gapped up and then continued. This time came into it, so it's not as strong from this upper level. So we'll see what happens tomorrow, but closed in the gap. So you'll see, I guess with the futures, you'll figure out what type of trade you could have there. Facebook gave you a decent bounce, but then sold off towards the end of the day. This resistance right there, we'll see what happens here at the 50-day if it sees it. Twitter also is stronger, and it didn't reverse as much as earnings tomorrow, so there's still some shorts wondering what to do. All in all, this trend is still in here. It's just a matter of what kind of earnings are we going to see. I guess not on Tuesday. So I'm in some calls still. We'll figure out if we could play the stock. Here's your pivot there, and nice big earnings gap last time. Nice little RDR here. Lots of trades along the way. We'll see what's next. Oil, not much went on today. Didn't get above 20-ish. Was really a no trade. Not getting data right now, so we'll move on from oil. There you go. It's still in this lower range. Little red bar today. Nothing, nothing so dramatic. We'll see if it holds this going sideways. I would say if you're in oil short term, make sure it holds this 1926, and at some point, if it were to get above 20, maybe get another trade besides, this outside type day that wound up being that low. You have key resistance moving forward or moving here, so we'll see if this was it or if there's more. That'll probably give us some clues on the market as well. Some guys on the floor, it's called the reversal in this, which I guess, GWPH, look at that, big reversal bar engulf this. Some guys were playing a reversal in SHAK, didn't quite reverse so much, but it's had a big move. This was your buy here, another buy here, up here, definitely a little wishy-washy. And I got to get back to my seat. At this point, if you were holding positions last week and you sold some pre-market into the strength and then you saw the markets get back below Friday's high, maybe you reduced some more, maybe you reduced as things weakened. I don't think it's game over, but there are definitely some shots across the bow with the bios, with the Russell, with the mid caps, with some banks. You look at Goldman real quick. Not really rallying much here. You look at, they sold earnings here. Didn't think that was a big deal considering it ran from here prior. But now it's looking like it might, engulf this range to the downside. And you don't want to see that happen, in a broad-based rally. You look at JP Morgan also. We'll see what's here. I tried being long it today. You would think that after they sold the strength here, that they would come in and, support this area. So it's below the 8-day. So there's small signals to just, not be all in long to take your trades. I guess we finally had a 3-4 day move that if you sold into strength, maybe we'll see how we handle tomorrow. Maybe back to 2-way trades. If you did that with the buy or short, congratulations. And we'll see if we can actually hold this upper level, or do we do a breakout failure, which could lead to more selling. So a lot of question marks today. So if you're an active trader, no reason to have excessive risk, especially if you had a good week from last week into this week, which was a bit more calculated, as now we wait and see what's next. Have a great evening. I'll be sure tweeting later after I see the Apple numbers, and I'm hopefully going to be trading it, and there could be some opportunities as well. If I don't have enough thumbs, I'll see you tomorrow morning with Brittany. Have a good night.